Well, it's been a challenging week for our nation, and no matter how you look at the events that occurred this week, they're not encouraging. So with that in the back of our minds, I'd like to reflect upon what is our role in the world as disciples of Jesus Christ, as baptized members of His holy church. And to do that, I'd like to go back to the year 410. In the spring of that year, a man named Alaric decided that he wanted to conquer Rome. He set his sights on Rome, and he wanted to bring the Roman Empire to his knees. Alaric was king of the Visigoths, which was a Germanic tribe. Maybe some of our ancestors, we're not sure. But in August of that year, Rome fell almost without a fight. And for the first time in 800 years, it was sacked. And this was totally devastating. Most people didn't even want to believe it. They thought it was a mistake when they heard the news. It was as if someone told them that the oceans were emptied or that someone had purchased the moon. They didn't believe it at first. St. Jerome was living over in Bethlehem, which is a long ways away. And when he got the news that Rome had fell, he wondered if it was the end of the world. It was so dramatic. At that time, 1/4 of all the people that lived in the world were Roman citizens or under the control of Rome. So it was totally devastating. And Rome, with its careless security, now had to look out for shelter and food and water. So it was quite something else. And once they realized that what they thought would never happen did in fact happen, then they asked themselves, why did this happen? Why did this happen? And some people decided it was the Christian faith. It was the otherworldliness of Christianity that weakened the empire and made it fall. And St. Augustine lived through all of these events, and he heard this argument. He decided that he wanted to refute it. So he wrote the greatest of all of his books called The City of God Against the Pagans, and it's a very, very big book and not easy to summarize, but essentially he told them, you're wrong. It wasn't Christianity that made the Roman Empire fall. It was the fact that not enough people embraced Christianity that made it fall. It was not enough Romans faced with the truth of the incarnation of Jesus that they did not turn to the Lord and His church. And so he said this, the solution was very simple. Embrace Jesus and the church. Have the true faith as the basis of your civilization, and then you will thrive and flourish. And you know what? For the next 1,000 years, many people took that to heart, and Christian civilization was born and thrived based on this idea from St. Augustine. And so what we're experiencing today is nowhere near the amount of chaos that happened with the fall of Rome, but it is an opportunity, and it seems like a turning point. And so as Christians, what we ought to do is wholeheartedly embrace our faith and live it out in the world. It can no longer just be some hobby of ours that we look at sometimes, or that we only spend 1 hour a week thinking about. It has to be the vision of reality for us. It has to inform all that we do, including our political engagement in the world. And we need to keep ourselves free from the idolatry of making politics into our religion. We need to keep ourselves free from the idolatry of making politics our religion, because politics and the state cannot save our souls. It cannot save our souls. And it cannot win victory over death. Only Jesus Christ can do that through His own passion, death, and resurrection. And we have been incorporated into Him through our baptisms when we became adopted sons and daughters of God. So God calls us to love Him, to keep His commandments, and to live in the world as a source of good. And that means praying. That means living out our faith as a sort of leaven in the midst of society. That means becoming a living force capable of transforming our alien nation into a civilization of love and truth. It means embracing our faith and living it out fully and truly. And this is what we need today. This is the solution that St. Augustine proposed all those centuries ago, 11 centuries ago. He told us what the answer is to every societal situation. And what we heard in the second reading today was from St. John. He said, the victory that overcomes the world is our faith. The victory that overcomes the world is our faith. So as baptized members of the church, as sons and daughters of God, as those who have become co-heirs with Christ, as those who have taken on his likeness, we ought to transform our society from the inside out and offer them the witness of our faith. Jesus calls us to be the salt of the earth and the light to the world. And so today let us pray that he may give us the grace to do that, to embrace that solution and to live it out for the sake of others. Because if we don't do it, who will? It's up to us to live out our Christian faith in the world today and propose it as a solution to everything that goes wrong in our world. Because this is what truly offers us salvation and a vision for man, a vision for God, and a vision for our civilization as well.